Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln wheat penny coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 today, we're diving into the mystery and magic of one of the most talked about coins in the world of numismatics, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny. A tiny piece of copper that carries with it a massive story, rooted in war, history, and an accidental twist of fate that made it incredibly rare. By the end of this video, you'll see why collectors are still obsessing over this coin almost a century after it was struck, and just how much this humble penny can be worth if you're lucky enough to have the right one. To understand why this coin is so special, let's rewind the clock to the early 1940s. America was deep in World War II, and every resource mattered. Steel, copper, zinc, these metals weren't just used for coins anymore. They were needed for bullets, tanks, airplanes, and ships. The US government made the decision to conserve copper by changing the materials used in pennies. So, in 1943, the US Mint produced pennies made from steel coated in zinc. They had a silver appearance and were a temporary but necessary shift during wartime, but in 1944, something changed again. With shell casings left over from the battlefield, the mint returned to making pennies out of copper. That year, the Lincoln wheat penny went back to its familiar reddish-brown look. The Denver Mint produced millions of them that year, which is why the 1944 penny, at first glance, might seem like nothing special, but here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Among the millions of 1944 pennies, a few were struck using leftover steel planchets from the previous year. These weren't supposed to exist. They were never meant to be released. But due to a rare minting error and accident in the process, some of these steel pennies slipped through the cracks and ended up in circulation. A few lucky people might have held onto them without ever knowing what they truly had, and if you happen to have one of these error coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But it's not just the steel versions that are valuable. Even the standard 1944 copper penny can be worth a great deal if it meets certain conditions. For serious collectors, the devil is in the details. A flawless strike, untouched surfaces, rich color, and perfect luster can take a coin from pocket change to prized possession. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on their condition, and the best of the best are labeled mint state or higher. Finding a 1944 penny in near perfect condition is like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of grass. Sure, they're out there, but they're rare, and collectors will pay top dollar to add one to their collection. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the way it captures a moment in time. A coin like this doesn't just represent money, it represents America in the middle of global conflict. It's a piece of metal that passed through the hands of soldiers, mothers, children, and workers. It tells the story of a country at war and a nation pulling together. Holding one is like holding a little piece of history, but here's the thing, many people have no idea that their old penny collection could include a coin like this. It's possible you've seen a 1944 wheat penny and didn't realize its significance. Maybe it's sitting in a dusty coin folder or buried in a forgotten envelope. And the best part? You don't need to be a professional to check. All it takes is a magnifying glass, a little patience, and the right information. That if you're lucky enough to find one of these coins in excellent condition, or one of the incredibly rare error versions, it could be worth more than you ever imagined. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. You've followed the story, you've learned the history, and you understand what makes this coin so special. So how much is a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny truly worth if it's in mint state and possibly features a rare error? One of these coins, in stunning condition and certified by experts, was sold at auction for an astonishing $105,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny. One set worth $105,000. So next time you're sorting through loose change, flipping through an old coin book, or checking out that dusty box in the attic, take a second look. That small copper coin could be your golden ticket. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most fascinating coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss out on the next hidden treasure we uncover. Top 2. There's something incredible about old coins. They're not just bits of metal, they're time capsules, tiny, overlooked artifacts that hold stories from generations past. And sometimes, just sometimes, those little copper coins in your change jar or an old family drawer can turn out to be worth far more than their face value. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins ever struck by the US Mint, the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny. It might look like an ordinary coin at first glance, but don't let appearances fool you. If you stick around to the end, you'll learn exactly why this seemingly simple penny has become a rare collector's dream, and how one version of it was sold for a jaw-dropping sum. Let's set the stage. The year is 1945. World War II is coming to an end. The world is changing, soldiers are returning home, and America is shifting from wartime production back to peace and prosperity. During this time, the U.S. Mint continued producing Lincoln wheat pennies, copper coins bearing the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and wheat ears on the back. At first glance, the 1945 wheat penny might not seem like a rare find. In fact, over 1 billion were minted between the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. They were used in everyday purchases, buying newspapers, bubblegum, and cups of coffee. Most of them were spent, worn down, and forgotten, but not all of them. There are some 1945 pennies out there that are far from ordinary. And if you're lucky enough to find one in your collection, you could be holding onto a piece of American history that's worth more than you'd ever expect. So what makes a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny valuable? It starts with condition. Most coins from that era have scratches, discoloration, or heavy wear. But if a 1945 penny was never circulated, if it was kept safe in a roll, untouched and protected, it could still have its original mint luster and color. These mint state pennies are far rarer and far more desirable to collectors. Then there are errors, the magical mishaps of the minting process. Some 1945 pennies have what's called a doubled die, where the image or lettering appears slightly duplicated due to a minting mistake. Others may have been struck off-center, or on the wrong kind of metal blank entirely, making them extremely unique and valuable. Collectors go wild for these error coins because they are one of a kind. They're the result of chance, and no two are exactly the same. When a 1945 penny has a rare error and is in near-perfect condition, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. And don't forget the small details that only experts notice. The size and spacing of the letters, the depth of the stamp, even the color of the coin itself, these features can all make a massive difference in value. A perfectly preserved penny with a rich, reddish copper tone and sharp details can be the crown jewel of a coin collection, but the real magic of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny isn't just in its condition or errors, it's in what it represents. This coin was minted in a pivotal year in American history. Soldiers were returning home. Families were rebuilding their lives. The country was full of hope and resilience. This coin passed through the hands of people who lived through one of the most significant chapters of the 20th century. And that makes it more than money, it makes it a story. So if you've got a coin collection, or even just a jar of old pennies passed down from a grandparent, now is the time to check. Look for the date 1945. Examine the condition. Look closely for unusual markings, and if you see anything that stands out, get it evaluated by a coin grading service, because some of these coins, just a tiny handful, have sold for absolutely staggering prices. In fact, one exceptional 1945 Lincoln wheat penny, in pristine, uncirculated condition with a rare error, was auctioned off to a passionate collector for an incredible $100,000. That's right. 1 cent worth $100,000. So next time you hold a penny in your hand, remember this: it could be more than spare change. It could be a hidden treasure. Thanks for joining us on this amazing journey through the story of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin discoveries, and ring the bell so you never miss the next incredible find. Top 3. Every coin has a story. Some tell tales of everyday life, quietly passed from hand to hand without much thought. But a rare few, those are the ones that slip through time like hidden treasures, carrying secrets, history, and sometimes, a fortune. Today, we're unlocking the mystery of one of those treasures. It's small, copper, and often overlooked, the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny. You've probably seen one. You might even have one buried in an old jar, forgotten in a drawer, or hiding in a dusty coin folder from decades ago. But what if I told you that this modest penny, struck in Denver during the start of a new American era, could actually be worth thousands, and in some cases, much more? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin has become a shining star among collectors, and how one particular version reached a staggering value that few could ever imagine. Let's travel back to the year 1950. America was still riding the waves of post-World War II optimism. Soldiers had returned home, industries were booming, and families were growing. The baby boomer generation was just beginning, and the country was changing fast. Amidst all of that, the US Mint continued doing what it always had, producing currency for a growing economy. And in the Denver Mint that year, millions of Lincoln Wheat pennies rolled off the presses. But here's the thing, even in a sea of millions, not every coin is created equal. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny might not seem rare at first glance. It has Abraham Lincoln's familiar face on the front, just like every other penny since 1909. The reverse features the classic wheat ears, a design that had been used since the series began. The small D mint mark beneath the date tells us it was struck in Denver. Simple, right, but this is where the story gets interesting. Over time, collectors began to realize that not all 1950 pennies aged the same way. Some were poorly struck, others quickly worn down in circulation. But a few, very few, were kept safe, untouched, uncirculated. These pristine examples, especially those with brilliant red luster and sharp details, became more than just coins. They became investment-grade pieces of American history, and that's just the beginning. There's another layer to the value of the 1950 penny. Mint errors, these are the happy accidents of the coin world. A coin struck on the wrong planchet. A double die that slightly duplicates letters or numbers. An off-center strike that cuts the design in an unusual way. These errors are like fingerprints, no two are exactly the same. And when a coin like the 1950 penny has a rare error and is in mint condition, that's when collectors start paying attention. Big time, some 1950 pennies are known for unique quirks that occurred during production. A subtle doubling in the lettering, unusual spacing, or even variations in the metal mixture can cause a coin to stand out. And when certified by trusted grading services, these features can push the value of a coin through the roof. Now imagine this, you're sorting through an old coin jar. You find a shiny Lincoln penny from 1950. It has the D mark. It looks clean. You take a closer look and realize it's been untouched by circulation. No scratches. No dirt. No wear. It shines like the day it was minted. Your heart skips a beat. Could this be the one? That's what makes this coin so exciting. Because every 1950 penny is a potential hidden treasure. They're out there, just waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. It's not just about the age or rarity. It's about the connection to the past. When you hold one of these coins, you're holding a piece of 1950 America. You're touching history. You're holding something that could have been in the pocket of a factory worker, a schoolteacher, or even a soldier coming home from war. You're connecting with generations before you in a way that only a coin can offer, and if that coin is one of the rarest, most well-preserved examples, you're not just holding history. You're holding value. So now, the moment you've been waiting for. One of the rarest 1950 Lincoln Wheat pennies, perfectly preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition, and displaying a rare minting error, was recently sold to an eager collector at auction. The final price, $95,000. That's right. A single penny worth $95,000, incredible, isn't it? That's why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. A journey through time. And a chance, just maybe, to turn something ordinary into something truly extraordinary. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss the next rare coin discovery. Got old pennies lying around? Start checking those dates. Your next big find might just be sitting right in front of you. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.